on the Orion Talk Radio Network in 1650 AM, Tonawanda, New York. I am your host, Gwen Caldwell. I'm joined today by Sarah Giel, Bob Wright, Brian Kelly, and we're just going to have a roundtable discussion today about manifesting frequencies and energy. And I just want to thank all you holy children of God, the Creator, whatever you call it, energy source. I want to tell you first off, your inheritance is success, wholeness, and abundance. And we are going to talk about those things today so that you can kind of get your arms a little bit around what all of that means. But we're going to go to Sophie's blog first, and I'm going to read from her blog today. I thought this was very timely. Thank you, Sophia. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our old light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that was written by Marianne Williamson. So, I'm gonna post that link for Sophie's blog today. It's called We Can Fly. So I just want to start with you, Sarah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've ascribed to that quote for years. But, with respect to the OPPT and how that all plays into this, I've been addressing that in the last couple of days, ever since the last call. And it seems like everybody's asking the same. Actually, they're not even asking questions now. They've just turned downright belligerent. And their whole thing is about, well, they said one thing, and then 1 minute they're talking about the Treasury. Next minute, now they're talking about manifesting. I may as well listen to Anthony Robbins. I don't need the OPPT for Anthony Robbins. And that kind of stuff. And my whole deal is this. If you don't see it, and I have to remind myself that I have access to these people that most don't, and I'm very grateful for that. So I have to make sure I don't get too far ahead of myself with people who don't have that same knowledge. But in the same respect, if you don't plan to do anything for your freedom, you need to shut up. I'm just breaking it
Good
down.
one. That is.
That's how I see it. If you don't plan to do now, I don't expect everybody to see what I see. I don't expect everybody to feel what I feel, and sometimes I have my own doubts about what's going on. But that's doubts based in fear. Somebody's always based in. So I address it. I move forward. All right. But if you're not going to do anything but sit on Facebook and complain and try to look at every word that comes out of Heather and Caleb's mouth and use it against the program or use it against the efforts that are being made, then what is your function? We know that your job is to hold the contrast, but that's ridiculous. If you were doing something, like if you were part, I can even understand those people who are all about the 14th Amendment, or the people who are all about what Drake is talking about, or the people all about what Poof is talking, or people who are all about Saint Germain and the Trust and the RVs. At least they're doing something. they're doing something in a direction of freedom. But if you're sitting on your ass every day, looking at Facebook, waiting on your opportunity to say, aha, I told you it was a scam, then you're pointless. You're useless. That's I don't mince words. I'm not a word mincer.
Okay, let's go to Bob and get Bob's thoughts.
Please get to Bob, because Bob will.
Oh God, I'm like on the edge of my seat waiting right now. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, with regard to the post, and I agree with Sheriff. Although I don't say that anyone is useless, they provide a contrast, and that's also useful. But what I see, and Bashar said it so brilliantly, we have been the masters of limitation for so long. And the whole idea of the OPPT was to get rid of that idea of limitation.
Exactly.
The whole thing, the whole process was a process of getting people to believe in themselves. There is no organization outside of yourself, whether it be the OPPT, whether it be RUSA, whether it be any other thing, outside of that can save you. It is within you. It is you. And when you start believing in yourself, and another thing I wanted to bring out, that manifesting, the ability to manifest, is the treasure.
Exactly.
And what an amazing treasure it is. Think about it. This is what is being offered. The ability to manifest your desires. Now, there's lots of different ways that can be done. Can it be done physically with the human body? Yes, for those who are ready for it. Can it be done synthetically? Yes. Does the technology exist? Yes. It's there. But in order for any type of even technology like that, if it was used, in order for that, you're talking about absolute technology. It will not work if you're not in that space.
You have to participate. Okay, hold that thought, Bob, because I want to give Brian a chance to say something before we go to break, and then we'll continue the discussion after break. Go ahead, Brian.
Cool. Okay, so, I think a big part of the issue that people are taking with some of what they're hearing is, they've attached on to every word that has come from Heather as being the absolute plan. And anybody that's ever been in planning and development, that's ever worked on something that requires R&D, realizes that plans are always subject to change. Heather has done so much behind the scenes and has taken in so much data. When she put out that original UCC filing, talked about 5 billion or 10 billion, go back and read it. It does not say anywhere in there, everyone is going to get a check for 10 billion Federal Reserve notes. It did not say anything like that. What it said was, go back and read the language in there, and you'll see that it was a message to the powers that were that the game was over for them, and that there is 10 billion in reserve in gold and silver, but it never said there's going to be a check. So there is going to be an access to value system that allows people to access the things that they need to make manifest in their life. That has never changed. All that's changed along the way is a little bit of the planning process in order to how to make that a reality. A guy sent me an Facebook this morning. I want to read it. I'm not going to say his name, but I want to read it because it tells a good story. He said, because he knows that I don't have a job right now. And he said, Brian, are you going to get a new job after being on the Tuesdays show? And I said, probably not. And he said, and with all exclamation points, it came from Heather's mouth. There will be no representations. So your savings should run out soon. Unless something big happens, then you may have to get another job. Like freaking out, right? And my response was, I don't buy into the fear of lack, my friend. Everything I've ever needed has always come to me when I've needed it. Fearing that as not being the case keeps the very thing that I desire away from me. And that comes back around to the ability to manifest. the people are misunderstanding the message that has been shared on some of these radio shows. It's just people are going to receive the value in a different way than they originally thought. If they thought it was going to be in the form of 10 billion Federal Reserve notes, they're sadly mistaken. If they thought it was going to be a delivery of gold bullion on their front doorstep, they were also mistaken.
Okay, Brian, we're coming up on break, so hold that thought, and we'll be back. Welcome back to Morning Brew on the Orion Talk Radio Network in 1650 AM, Tonawanda, New York. I am your host, Gwen Caldwell. Also, new to my website, next to the Orion live stream player, there are social network icons that you can click and join me on Facebook and Twitter, also YouTube, although I'm not currently posting anything new on YouTube, but hope to in the near future. There is also a pay it forward donate button. Your loving, generous contributions are gratefully accepted for those who are contacting me with needs so that we can help each other out. So be sure and click and give whatever you can. Every little bit helps. So what I want to talk a little bit about going into this segment is about the truth. And I don't care what culture, what religion you are from. Truth is universal. I don't care what language it's in, but I live in the Great Sioux Nation. I live among the Lakota people, and there are virtues that are held in very high esteem among the Lakota people: generosity, fortitude, courage, kindness, all of those things. But one of the things that really strikes me about the Lakota people is when I first came here, it's the poorest county in the nation. And you would go to these people's homes, and I mean, you can tell visually that they're just dirt poor, but you go into their homes and they offer you the very best that they have, whether that be coffee, tea, maybe the best they have to offer you is a glass of water and a dry biscuit. But whatever the best they have is, it's offered to you. And when you leave, you never leave the home of a Lakota person without a gift or a blessing or something. And you know, it's so phenomenal to witness this year after year after year of living among the people here. You would never know because of the laughter and the love and all of that they have any notion in their minds whatsoever that they're poor. And that really strikes me. And the language itself, there is a word, there are two words, actually, mitakuya oyasin, which means all my relations or all my relatives. And that's how we end our prayers in Lakota. And but that saying in and of itself is a prayer. It is for all of us. Everyone, everything, the standing silent nation, the trees, the grasses, the winged ones, the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, it is all encompassing. And I think somewhere in our programming, that has been totally freaking dissected in us as beings. And somehow we need to pull that all back together so we are at the center again and in balance with the Creator where we came from. We don't have power over or under anyone. Nobody is above us or below us. We are all here with purpose. We are all here with light. We are all here with energy. The difference is, what do you choose to do with that? What do you choose for your life? Do you choose to be unhappy? Do you choose to gossip? Do you choose to wallow? Do you choose to blame? Do you choose poverty? You know, because all of it is a choice. You have the ability within inside of yourself to change whatever you want at any time you want. So I'm going to start with you again, Sarah, your thoughts.
Well, of course. I mean, some things to me are self-evident. But then again, I don't claim that everybody thinks like me. I know when I'm around people that think like me, it's pretty calm. but I will say this as well. Some people appear to me to be under the impression that Heather, Randall, and Caleb are the Trinity or a combination of the all-seeing eye. They are not. Now, do I believe they are God? Yes, just as I do. I believe all men are God. Now, what you want to believe is your business. I'm just saying what I believe. All right? Now, with that being said, they have the power to create any and everything. All right? They have the power of their future in their hands. But they do not see what another person is seeing or saying. All of us are contributing to this process, whether we know it or not. So with that being said, the script is not fully written. It's improvisational acting. It's like free-form jazz. Everybody's playing their instrument. Some people are just watching. But even the people in the audience who are watching, if they're vibing it, they stay in the club. If they're not, they leave the club. But they don't sit in the club and complain. You just get up and walk out, especially since you didn't pay cover.
Right, exactly.
Right? So my whole take is very simple. Caleb, Randall, Heather, they set a precedence. They put a placeholder. They let the people, and it's just a few families like we've spoken about before, they let those people who run those families know the game is over. So everybody else gets to do the same thing that you've been doing for centuries, but denying us access to it. And that is the ability to manifest out of thin air. It's simple. So.
Okay, Bob, your thoughts?
Sorry,
Bob?
I was on mute.
I was going to tell you, unmute that mic. I know you're muted.
There's a space within everyone. And if you can find that space, you can speak with the authority of God. Yeah. And when you speak with the authority of God and you're in that space, you have the ability to literally change reality. And this is, if you tell people this right off the bat, they're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe you until they see it themselves. And I think that's what the whole journey of the OPPT was, so that you could see what you yourselves can do. And you look at the movement itself, it was done so very quickly, and it was done joyfully. It was done, people were excited, and people were, putting all of their energy and volunteering, and they were moving mountains. Mountains and things that everyone thought would be impossible were accomplished. And it was accomplished without any money, without any form of exchange, without anything. It was accomplished. And this is the example I want everyone to look at and see. This is what you can do. Now we offer you the decision. Now what do you choose to do? Because you've figured it out. You've already figured out the secret. And the secret is within you, that you are the ones, that you have the abilities that has been bestowed within you, because you are the embodiment of God. And when you start to understand that, you're never doing anything wrong, ever.
You're never going back to how it was. We're coming up on a break. We'll let Brian respond to this when we come back.
The easiest way to get away with any large government crime is to simply cry conspiracy theory, and it's a magic phrase, reserved and used exclusively by government. But just for the record, any crime of 2 or more persons is, by definition, a conspiracy. Our Justice Department knows that, and that means our government knows it as well. Yet when anyone points a finger at them, they yell the magic phrase every time, conspiracy theory. But history knows the sins of Washington all too well. Operation Ajax, MK Ultra, Operation Northwoods, the Iraq 9/11 war lie. Does that really sound trustworthy to you? Next time you hear our government cry conspiracy theory, don't enable the crime by looking away. That's exactly what they want you to do. So take a closer look and think for yourself instead of letting the corporate media do it for you. You may just find out that conspiracy theory is indeed conspiracy fact. Orion News Talk, news and views beyond the mainstream media.
So when we went to the break, Brian, you didn't get a chance to respond to our last little thing, so you wanted to read something from Bashar?
Yeah, I'm going to do my best here considering I have this loud ringing going on in my headphones. But what I was going to say before I read this Bashar quote is, you know, one of the key ingredients in manifestation is your belief in your mindset. You know, they have the quote, what you resist persists. You know, if you're trying so hard or you're resisting so hard, either way, you're pushing what you want farther away from you. And poverty, just like wealth, is a mindset. And when you're in a mindset of poverty, you perpetuate more poverty. If you are in a mindset of wealth doesn't necessarily have anything to do with money. Abundance doesn't necessarily have anything to do with money. It's a mindset of being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, which that's actually another Bashar quote. The definition of abundance is the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. It says nothing about money in there. What people want is a mindset of abundance. What people want is a desire to be free, to be unencumbered, to do and be as they please and go where they want to go without having to worry about having or not having the money to be able to do it. So here's the quote that I got from Bashar. So it says, manifestation is not the creation, nor even in a sense the attraction of something to you that isn't here already. It's already here. Everything is already here. Everything is and exists here and now. So manifestation is the experience of being the vibratory state that allows you to perceive, to make visible what is already here, but invisible to you in the state you're in now. So we have everything available to us in every moment. So when we get all this energy that comes from people that are freaking out comes from a state of being fearful of something. And I hold no judgment to those people for being fearful because they're very stuck in this poverty and lack mindset. And they're having a real hard time getting over that. So what the space that I try to hold for these people when they come to me and they're freaking out about this and that is I hold the space of being calm and having faith that everything is being rolled out by design and it's all in absolutely perfect order. This plan is so much bigger than One People's Public Trust. This plan is so much bigger than Heather Ann Tootsie Giraffe. This plan is so much bigger than any of us on this call. It's coming from a much higher place that's inside of each and every single one of us. It's our ability to bring this plan out and do it on our own. The tools are there. We just don't believe they're there. And that's what's holding us back from making manifest this new reality.
You know, I think one thing that people really don't understand is everything has a vibration. What you think is money has a vibration. You have a vibration. Your car has a vibration. We're all just energy and vibration. It's just a matter of density of that vibration. So you have the ability to create that vibration in that density whenever you choose. And you think somehow you've got to be trained or you got to be given some tool to do that. I would start, talking to someone who has no clue. I would start with the word humility. And I would go from humility to gratitude look around at what you have to be grateful for. You have your health. You have a roof over your head. You have healthy children. You have a job. Maybe you don't have a job. So you can be grateful for the free time to pursue a hobby or do your spring cleaning. There's always a way to look at your situation from a different vantage point. And I think what happens is we get to this point where we start feeling really down and really beat up, and it's really hard to see the abundance. It's hard to be grateful because you feel like you're struggling. But if you let go of whatever it is that you're struggling with, write it down on a piece of paper and then crumple it up and throw it in the garbage, literally, and say goodbye to it. And then look at what you have to be grateful for and stay in that place of gratitude. I really have...
One thing I wanted to say, Gwen, about humility, because a lot of people will take that as, that means bowing down. Humility is the ability to serve.
Exactly.
The ability to serve another. And to have humility, and to move into service, it is an empowering thing. Because the ability to serve has to come from a place of power. It's the starting place of power.
Exactly.
The ability to serve. And when you have that willingness and you have that and you move into that space, you'll find that your true value, what you said is very, very profound. And I hope people really understand, and I want them to get the real meat of it.
Bob, I went out. I can remember the day. I mean, there are those defining moments in my life. Gratitude, acknowledging gratitude was one of them. But I remember another time I went out into the clearing in the woods early in the morning, and it was still crisp and there was still dew and the sun was coming up. And I was just drumming and praying out there in this clearing. And I just said, and why I said it, I don't know, but I just said, show me how I can be in service. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Because something was shifting at that point that I knew that taking, and expecting wasn't getting me the desired results I wanted. But why it even came to me to pray to be in service, I'm telling you, like a quickening. Within 48 hours, my life so drastically changed that it literally spun me. It spun me. So when you have the courage and you have the ability to put that vibration out verbally, show me how I can be in service. Show me what it is I am supposed to see to move beyond where I am. And do it in a way that you don't judge it. You have no expectation of the outcome. You're just holding that place for information. And I just have to say that I think you'll be really amazed in a short period of time, the information that starts coming to you, and probably from all different kinds of directions. I want to quickly tell a story. I was out on the reservation, and there was an old medicine man, in fact, the oldest Lakota medicine man, and he was quite ill and not being very well cared for. And I was out there for a Sundance, and I was being in service. I was there cooking and cleaning dishes and helping, however I could. So the Sundancers asked me to keep an eye on him, make sure that he had liquids and food. And so I kept going in to check on him. And so when it came time for me to leave, I went in to say goodbye. And he asked me, where's the little boy's dad? And I told him, and he said, do you stay with him? And I said, no. And he said, well, you've been here taking pretty good care of me. And the spirits told me you're supposed to stay here and take care of me. Now, how I ever got to the place, it still baffles me. I'm still processing this. I just go, okay. I said, my little guy and I, we can't be around drugs and alcohol. because I walk with a pipe, but I knew his kids were there and they drank and took advantage of him. He said, I don't want any goddamn drunks here anyway. Call the cops on them. And I said, okay. And I stayed. I stayed with that old man for the last year of his life. Well, this is in August. In February, he has a stroke and can't do anything, nothing for himself. And I'm out in the middle of flipping nowhere on the reservation, taking care of this old man. And I'm telling you what, there was nothing more waking about who I am as a person, what being in service means. But I'm telling you, the blessings that I have had since that day I said, okay, have been unbelievable. There are people out there that need you to help them. This is Morning Brew on the Orion Talk Radio, 1650 a.m., Tonawanda, New York. Bob, Brian, and Seraph and I will be right back. Please stay tuned. Also new on my website are social network icons. Please click those. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook to stay abreast of all of our upcoming guests and show subject matter and other things that are pertinent. We also have a Pay It Forward donate button. Your contributions, however great or small, are greatly appreciated. We are trying to help people to people in an effort to help people, give them a hand up with immediate needs. So your help and support for that project is greatly appreciated. Now, you guys, I know I mentioned this yesterday, but I wanted to tell you and remind the listening audience. I posted on Facebook on my Morning Brew and also on my personal Facebook page. I asked people, if financial energy was not an issue, what would you be doing? And I didn't get a lot of responses, but every single response I got said things like, oh, I would be studying and learning and teaching other people. I would be painting. I would be gardening, blah, 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 whatever it was. Not one of those people responded with they would buy anything or that they needed money for anything. So money is, it's all a fiction. And Sarah, I think you say it best. Money is your umbilical cord to the slavery system.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the handcuffs. And the reason why the system works. See, here's the thing that makes the system that we're in so masterful. I marvel at that system because it works like a creator system. If you think about it, there are no grass, tree, robin redbreast, cardinal, or blue jay farms. It's a reason for that, because the creator set that in motion so that it self-perpetuates. All right? Now, this system that they have created is masterful. It's evil, but it's masterful. And because they set it up so that all of the internal mini-systems help keep their system going. School, religion, banking, politics, all of those systems are designed, GMO foods, pharmaceuticals, television, media, all that stuff is their little mini systems within the big system that allows the big system to move without them having to do anything. And it also allows them to have what legalese would be called plausible deniability. Well, the kids of the old rotten bastards that started all of this, they don't even know that system was set up by their dads. They just know that they're super mega rich, and that's all they know. But but right now,
darn.
But right now, the first thing, and Caleb said this to me yesterday. He said, "Sarah, did you know that right now is the only time in recorded or verbal history where the factions of the powers that were are coming to us to try to end their own system?"
Exactly.
And it also, and that coordinates with the first time that the people have actually said out loud and written down, we want all of the freedom. We don't want a little piece that you give us to make us feel bad. for a few years, and then you take a little bit back. We want it all. But the problem with the most people that I've come across, especially in the last 24 hours, my shoulders are hurting from all this wing slapping. But in the last 24 hours, the reason why they're getting so weird is because most people on their DNA level know, wow, you mean to tell me now I have to take 100% responsibility and liability for everything I do? You mean I can't run over somebody's mailbox and let my insurance fight it out? You mean to tell me I can't quote unquote steal music? I can't do the kind of things that I know I shouldn't be doing? I can't blame it on anybody. I can't blame it on my pastor. I can't blame it on my priest. I can't blame it on my income tax guy. I can't blame it on the government. I have nobody I can blame. You mean it's all on me now? That's what's making people freak out. That's what kept some slaves in colonial America staying on the plantation even after they were free.
Right. I guess the thing that I see that is so prevalent is this denial of power that we have. And nobody gave us that power but the source, the creator. And we can co-create. And we don't have to ask permission to do that. We don't have to quit our job to do that. We don't have to ask our parents. We don't have to ask our husband or wife. We can just be in that place and do it. But you have to do.
Gwen, that's one of the questions, I laugh at a lot. People keep, well, who gave them the authority? When you understand
like Brian.
when you understand from the place where that question comes from, you have to laugh. Because it's coming from a place where I have no authority or no one else has authority. Who gave you that authority? Well, all authority comes from within. All.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you, I'm really grateful for the people that were involved in having the courage, that took the time. And I know I've filed these UCC, this paperwork. I've been doing it for 3 years. It is so freaking time consuming, and the research and the hours, and I think people are kind of not seeing that Heather has a family. She has a husband. She has she has things to do in her life. And Caleb, he's got a business. He's got things to do. He's, Randall has a business. He's got things to do, and what I went to Brian and I said, I want to do this show. I want to get this information out to more people. And Brian, when we first talked, and Bob and Seraph, I think we too have had this conversation. It was never about the money for me. What I want is I want no fluoride in the water. I want no GMO foods. I don't want to breathe chemtrails anymore. I don't even want to see them in my skies anymore. That's where I'm at. That's, to me, this is a tool for us to make that kind of stuff stop. I want Palestinian children to stop being drone bombed. I want the wars to stop. It's ridiculous. We don't want war. We don't hate those people. We don't have a problem with them. It's the bankers making money off this crap that we keep fueling with our own fear and buying their freaking lies and their slavery. And it's time we wake the hell up and say, no, not anymore. This is enough now.
Absolutely.
It isn't about the money. It's about saying, what do we want our lives to look like? What are we going to take responsibility for the next 7 generations? What kind of place do we want them to be in? So everybody, we have about 1 minute each. So just your final thoughts before we close the show out.
Okay, let me go real quick, and Bob and Seraph can do their thing. Really what, for me, it boils down to one thing: living a life, having inner peace, right? So Eckhart Tolle says that at any given time, to be in balance, you need to be in one of 3 states of mind. Enjoyment, enjoy yourself, find joy in whatever it is you're doing, even if it's sweeping the floors. Enthusiasm, be excited about something. Follow your highest excitement is what brings you closest to the source that's created you. And last but not least, most importantly, acceptance. That's the one that people are having a really hard time with. Accept what is for what it is. and do not let it bother you, and you can live in a state of perpetual bliss. Yes, everybody's going to have their moments where they fall off kilter, where they fall out of balance, but you need to be able to accept where you're at and accept the things that are in front of you. Because what people are going to realize real soon, this is my last thing I have to say, is that everybody's going to look back at this moment right now, and they're going to laugh at the idea of $10 billion. They're going to say, oh my God, what a concept. It was so limiting, because when people have true access to their value, they're going to realize that no money in any bank account or no gold in any vault could come even remotely close to the value that they're going to be able to access and where we are headed.
Yep. Okay, Bob?
I was going to say the same thing, but acceptance is really the big thing, and it's especially of yourself. All the things that you think that are so horrible and terrible, just because they don't fit into society, as long as you're not hurting anyone, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with you. All the medications that people are taking to try to correct things that they think are imperfections.
Right. Seraph, quickly, we got 20 seconds.
As a musician, I'm smart enough to know when to close the show and when I open the show. I should have opened that show, because I got nothing. When Bob and Brian talk, I have nothing to say, because they always say exactly what I'm feeling.
Thank you guys very much for joining me today. And I think we need to continue this conversation. And I think we need to give practical application to how people can start moving in this direction. I think it's really important, not only for OPPT, but just in general, in claiming our lives and our freedom back. So thank you all for joining me. Everyone, have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow with Lisa Leak's show. Lisa Elkins Goodman, noon Eastern. Please join us then. Have a good day.
Thanks, Gwen.
Thanks, Gwen.
See you guys. Thanks.